Take a moment and say the following statement with your eyes closed. I am beloved. How much do you believe that? What feeling do you have when you say it? Do you feel a joy inside? Or do you feel a sadness at rejection? Try this. I am lovable. What happened now? Do you feel a pushing away of that? Do you feel an acceptance? What emotion accompanies those two different kinds of responses? Hi, my name is Rav Daniel Cohen, and I am really thrilled to be offering this series on love in the Torah and in Jewish wisdom. You know, I think there's nothing that's more important to us, more radically definitive for us than our ability to answer those questions in a way that's positive. If you answered the question with a yes, so then you probably felt happy, warm, accepted. If you answered those questions with a no, then you probably felt sad, rejected, perhaps dejected. However it is that you're experiencing, the response to those questions is less relevant right now than is just the point that this really matters to us. The nature of love, how it is that we are in our relation with love. Are we beloved? Do we love? Is there something in our life that we can say, I love this? Is there anything that's more central to our human experience than those questions and those issues? I don't think so. And there's good reason for it, because there's nothing that's more central to why we're in the world than love. And in today's teaching, I'd like to show you how this originates at the very beginning of the Torah and also follows through to the very end of the Torah. You see, at the very outset, the first letter of the Torah is a bet. And this actually makes a big difference in the way the Torah is presenting itself to us. And the rabbis in the Medrash and also in the Zohar actually spell that out. Beginning with a bet means we're beginning with a letter whose numerical value is 2. So that means already we're dealing with duality. And yet it's immediately followed by a word which means the first, or talks about original origin. Okay, that sounds perhaps a little bit, out there, but it's very much not, because if you continue following through, so you see the very first verse is about dualities. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the very beginning, God created heaven and earth. And then it's all about evening and daytime. And it's about the male and female. And it's about everything coming in pairs, 6 days in which there are 3 times 2. And then there's the 7th day, and immediately the Medrash asks, who's going to be the 7th day's partner? Well, it's going to have to wait until the Jewish people comes along to partner with Shabbat. But the point is that everything seems to be about this duality of reality, this two-ness. And the truth is that that's from the very beginning, because indeed, when Hashem creates the world, he has created an other, some entity which stands outside of him. And in fact, those very first 2 letters of Bereshit in Aramaic actually mean outside, meaning that God has made something outside. Bar Ashit as actually a way to divide that word into 2. I've made something outside myself. There is some entity, something created that I'm now going to be in relationship with. And as with all 2s, there's always the third, meaning that if you have 2 options, there's always a third option. There's that which stands between them. There's that which can unify them. There's that which can bridge them. There's always the third. And the third is always the unifying factor, the power which is able to bring those 2 together. So from the very outset, we're dealing with a world which is in duality, in which there are two, and that those two on some level are seeking to unify, to come together and to bond into a oneness which returns them to the Reshit or brings the Reshit down into their lives. That Reshit, again, meaning the very first origin, and enables and empowers unification to come about in a context of duality. Well, that's like pretty high language for something which on the emotional level we experience as love when two become bonded together. And this is something which the Medrash spells out and says actually God interviewed each of the letters of the alphabet to determine which one would become the one that the world would be created with. He started with the Tav, which is the very end of the alphabet, and he said, well, that has too much to do with Mavet, which is death, so we're going to put you aside. Then the Shin, and the Shin is, the first letter in the word Sheker, which means lying, and that wasn't what he was seeking in his creation. And so he moved on to the Reish, which is the beginning of the word Rasha, which is an evil person. That's not the point. And went through all of the letters the Medrash describes until he got to the Bet. And then he said, yes, it's about you, because you're the word that the word bracha begins with, the word blessing begins with. And in the story of creation, he actually blesses using the meaning of the word blessing to make that blessing. Meaning his blessing is be fruitful and multiply. Blessing is about things multiplying, and the first multiple is two. Blessing is about things opening up, expanding, differentiating, becoming their own separateness. And that is really what this creation is about and for. And so in that, we're also going to discover very much the expressions of love, because it's not just about bonding together. It's about bonding together in a way which is blessed. Blessed meaning it's fruitful. Fruitful meaning that when it's bonded together, there's creativity, there's originality, there's something new, there's innovation, there's an expansiveness and an expansion which comes about by virtue of those two meeting. Oh, you might wonder, wait a minute, what happened to the Aleph, the first letter of the alphabet? So the Medrash says after the Bet left triumphant, so the Aleph came in and said, wait a minute, I didn't get my interview. And God says, that's because you are silent. You are the primordial silence. You are the unity, one, which stands at the very root of all that is, but is not the power of creation. The power of creation is in duality, but the root, the primal origin, the being upon which all becoming is built, is the Aleph. You will wait for when I give the Torah, which will expose the unity of all, but as for now, remain silent. So that it's the Bet which opens the Torah. This means a lot for us. I know I started by talking about something which is just inwardly experienced, but I want for us to get the beginning of a taste of why this is so central to us. It's so central to us because it's the very core of the creation. God created a world that there would be with whom he would be in relationship. God created a world that there would be a possibility for two coming into one. God created a world in which the root and purpose is that those two should be able to love in a relationship which is a fruitful relationship of creativity, in which those two themselves become participant in the very activity of the divine, of creating more and more and coming into a loving relationship with them. Well, that is really the starting point for everything. This sense of a world in duality, this reality which is one in which God has created something outside of himself to relate to. The recognition that we're talking about a life which is a life which experiences very much at the core of it a desire for love, for bonding, for taking care of, for being responsible for helping to bring into a greater expression the beloved, and our own selves. This is really our world. It's a world of love. It's indeed the case that this is what it is that makes it so central and important to us, because it's really what it's all about. And the truth is, it's all hinted right in the word ahava. Because if you look at that word incredibly, it begins with the aleph, the silent presence of the unity of all. And it moves to the bet, which is the duality in which there can be speaking, communication, and relating. And between the aleph and the bet is a hey, which is the opening up of the hand, which is the aleph able to give over to the bet, and then the bet able to give over to the beloved by virtue of those 5-pointed representations of what our hand is, and so much more, which we'll learn along the way. And so welcome to the world of Ahava. And in our first meditation, we're going to get ourselves connected to this experience right here in our body of the desire of the two to unify. I look forward to you joining me in that meditation immediately following this teaching. Oh, and by the way, if your answers were positive to the questions I posed at the very beginning, so you're in a good space already, which is going to grow and be enriched during this course. And if it was a negative, so then I promise you that by the end of these 10 sessions, you will have many more reasons and much more experience, so that when you say those words, I am beloved and I am worthy of love, your answers will be yes. In this meditation, we're going to allow ourselves to experience the simple attraction of one hand to the other. Let's begin first by relaxing, allowing ourselves to rest in the place where we are now. Sit comfortably where you are, your hands resting on your thighs or alongside your body, feeling the weight of your body in the place that you are supported. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, allowing relaxation to enter you with the air you breathe. And now release that breath slowly through your lips. Take another breath in and aim it towards your heart. Let your heart open with focus on it as it lets go of anything which may be tense. Allowing yourself to feel the presence of its simple energy. And now breathe out again as if it's your heart itself exhaling. Take another nice breath in towards your heart. Exhale again as if from your heart outwards, releasing any tension as you breathe out. Allow your body to settle in even more deeply relaxed as your shoulders relax, your back, your thighs, and entire leg, down to your feet and toes. Sense how a beautiful wide space is opening up between your eyes, and that wide space is opening up in your head itself as your entire being begins to broaden. Raise your two hands up so that they're alongside your body, opposite one another. Hold them there as if with your eyes you're looking, though your lids are closed. Begin to sense the energy that's flowing between your hands. Feel them become more and more energized just by this simple facing one to another. Allow their natural movement towards each other to occur slowly, stopping about halfway of the distance from where they began. Feel the intensity of what passes between them in your palms and on your fingers. Begin to allow them to move more close one to another. Sense the sensation that occurs now as they're quite near one to another. And now let them relax into holding each other, one in each other's palm, as you move them towards your heart. Sense the warmth. Allow whatever feelings to come up, to arise. And know that as your hands themselves are extensions of one body, So are all people and things. Allow the sense of energy between you and other. Simply surround your body right now as the energy that was between your hands present there. So also between you and the rest of the world. Now bring your hands back down to the sides of your body or onto your thighs. Return to the simple sense of presence here, now invested with this connecting power which is present in all. And when you're ready, open your eyes and with a soft glance, look around that which shares this world with you.